Hey, what's going on? It's Matt, and in this video, we're going to look at an accident that just recently happened, that HondaJet that crashed at Falcon Field in Arizona, and God rest the souls of the victims, the folks who passed. I was not sure if I wanted to make this video. My deepest condolences to the family, but I think that there's some real learning lessons, potential learning lessons in this. And so if you're not familiar with what happened, the aircraft took off, and I believe that there was potential reported engine trouble with one of the engines, and it couldn't take off, so they had to abort. But they were cruising along at like 120, 130 miles an hour down the runway. They were at that decision's airspeed, that decision speed, where they had to either stop, slam on the brakes, or pick that sucker up and go. And he decided to hit the brakes, but he probably burned out his brakes, and he rolled right on through, used up the existing length of the airfield, and went through the fence and crashed. It went through into a highway, or at least a 4-lane road, and crashed into a vehicle, killed the person in the vehicle. My gosh. If it's your time, bro, it is your time. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so I downloaded the HondaJet off the X-Plane forum site. This was not something you could buy off the marketplace, first of all. So the only place that I could find this was in the forum. This was user created, and I was able to record some footage. So I put ourselves at Falcon Field on 22 left, and my first look here was, hey, can we get up to speed? So 110 was your decision knots to see if you could do it, and 120 was like rotate. 130 was like you better have rotated rotation speed. So I got up to about 110 and decided, let's see if I can get to 110 and then pull back the power and say, nope, we're not doing this. I lost an engine, whatever reason it was that I decided not to stop. And you can see that I hit the brakes, and I was barely able to get to the end. I didn't burn out the brakes this time, though. Okay, my goal this time was, hey, can we get this thing up to like 130? What would happen if we just got that little bit of extra airspeed in there before trying to take off? And as we're going down the runway, of course, I'm sitting here checking everything out, make sure that, everything looks good in the cockpit. But the last run was like, okay, could it have been done if the decision was caught soon enough? Theoretically, yes, it could have. What we're doing here is we're actually going to push 120, 130, which is like you better have rotated by now speed, and see what happens. And we're just going to hit the brakes. There's no engine failures. And as we're going down the runway, we hit those brakes. We're slowing down. Believe it or not, this is slowing down. We're going across the road. We're going through the trees, I don't think any of this crap is actually here. This might, but ultimately, we definitely did not make it. We burned out those brakes. We went across the road. It hit some dude's house. It wasn't great. It did not work out well. So, okay, in this example, one more here. I've got the engine set to fail when I get to like 100 knots. So we're not going to get over 100 knots, or maybe about 110 knots here. So once we hit that, the engine fails and it pulls super hard off to the left because of that, the thrust. You've only got thrust on one side. So now it's pulling to one side, and technically I don't have enough airspeed to take off, but it's X-Plane, it's a simulator. So I was like, well, let's see what we can do. Let's see where this goes if I continue to make this flight. And if I were an actual pilot that could fly a HondaJet, I might be able to go straight forward. We might be able to take off if we had enough airspeed and we were taking off on asphalt. If we were on like an actual freaking runway, theoretically, maybe we could have gotten off of that runway. I don't have passengers set up on this, so we just have a regular old tank of gas, whatever came with it, stock. So we could fly around. What I can tell you is it was heavy. It did not want to get off the ground. You could see it there, and I was like, maybe I could circle back around and land. I had trouble doing that. I was able to, as soon as we got the gear up, it had some airspeed. So when I put the those gears back down and then started putting in flaps and started looking for the airport, like, okay, there's the airport. By then it was too late, dude. There was so much drag. This thing was coming down. It was coming out of the sky, and we were going to hit terra firma. It was going to be hard. It was going to be rough. So I know not the same scenario as what happened, but I thought to myself, what if this could have been salvaged? What if this could have been saved? Okay, and that was my thought process. Guys, I sincerely apologize. My condolences to the families. I really would like to know more about this. I want to see how this unfolds. I want to see how this crash investigation, turns out. So we're going to keep an eye on it. This could happen in any freaking aircraft, especially a fast one. So that was part of why I was very curious how this turned out. Could you do this? Because you're faced with a decision when you get to 120 knots. Do I go or do I not go? Am I going to pull the power and stop, or am I not? Or am I just going to... What a horrible decision. You either pull the power and say we're aborting, but you're going to end up... You don't have enough brakes to stop by the time you get to the end of a 1 mile. I think this was a 5,000 foot runway. It could have been a longer runway. I will give it that. So this runway kind of cut these guys a tad bit short. So if they had a longer runway, they could have taken off. That gives you something to think about. If it's a Cessna, yeah, you're probably just going to stop the aircraft. Everything's going to work out. But there's some pretty fast aircraft that might not be able to stop before they hit the end of the runway, and they might end up going through the fence. Bad things might happen. So it's a sad thing, but that was what I wanted to see, was could it be done? Could it have been salvaged? What could they have done differently? And, that was pretty much it. I wanted that, and I thought, this would be a good use of the simulator to see what would I do in that scenario. And I want you guys to use a flight simulator for that as well. If you guys are like me and you're always looking at what weird accidents are happening out there, put yourself in those scenarios and see what would you have done. Did maybe there was nothing that could be done? In this case, maybe the first time I was able to stop, but I don't know if I think at those speeds you could very easily burn out those brakes, and you may not have any. You would just keep on going. That was a rough go. So, guys, listen, if you like this content, if you want to see more of this, leave me a comment down below. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you guys want to see some more of this. And I'll see you guys in another video, man. Let me know. I look forward to hearing what you guys' thoughts are. All right, take care. See you guys in another video. See ya.